Good morning, folks. Hope you're well. Just following on from the video I done yesterday regarding utility players, i.e. the players who play for their countries as well as their club. I have made my first signing since producing that video, and I just want to give you my thoughts on why I bought that player, what I'm hoping he's going to help me achieve on certain game weeks, etc. Now, the guy in question is Carlos Gruzo, who plays for San Jose in the MLS. However, he also plays for the Ecuadorian national team. Now, I've identified Gruozo as a player that I could potentially use on international weeks for my Cap 240 threshold team. If desperate some game weeks because of injuries in my gallery, I could potentially use him as well in just a normal Cap 240 game week, as in my opinion, he is an ideal threshold player. Now, I say that based on the scores, as you can see here. He's not a heavy scorer. However, there's far worse on the platform. And you've got to be realistic when you've got a threshold team. You're not going to have players who are consistently banging in 70, 80 scores, because obviously their average is going to be far too high. Now, all I would hope for is he bangs in his average of 40 to 50 points, and hopefully the game week he's in my team, he'll either assist or score, or a last man tackle, something, just a decisive score, basically, like he's done on 2 occasions. Now, if you've seen my video regarding threshold players, the first and the most important thing I look at is the minutes they play on the pitch. I want a player that generally plays the whole 90 minutes, and he also starts most of the games. This guy has started every game for San Jose this season, bar one, and 99% of the time he plays the full 90 minutes. For Ecuador, he played the full 90 minutes in their 1-0 defeat away to Argentina the other night, and the previous World Cup campaign, he played every game for Ecuador, I'm sorry. So as it stands right now, he is a mainstay in that Ecuadorian team. Now, for me, there's the side that played against Argentina the other night. There's a few household names there, and in my opinion, they've got a decent squad, and I would think they've got a great chance of qualifying. However, they were nearly thrown out of the qualifiers, and they were actually deducted 3 points, so please take that into account. The reason for that is it's crazy, these South Americans, they're fucking lunatics. But they registered some player who was born in Colombia to play for Ecuador. They falsified their passport or something along those lines. They went to the sports arbitration council, whatever they call it, and there was possibility they were going to get chucked out. However, it was decided by the tribunal that they would get deducted 3 points. So they're on -3. However, I still think because 6 qualify out of this group out of the 10, and the 7th place team goes into a qualifier against another, I think it's like the Oceania region. So for me, Ecuador will still finish in that top 6, given the -3 deduction. There are 4 worst teams that I believe I can see straight away: Paraguay, Peru, Bolivia, Venezuela. So I got no doubt that Ecuador would qualify. So hopefully, if I was to keep this player all this time, then I would potentially have a player that would be playing in the World Cup. Now, I believe his positives far outweigh his negatives. I don't really see any negatives, if I'm being perfectly honest, given the price I've paid for him, which again I think is an absolute, for 13 quid for a rare card who plays regular for their country and their club, I think is sensational, especially, like I said, if you're going to use him for the threshold player. He's not going to be a player that you're going to be throwing into your all-star teams, because he's simply not going to score well enough. So very quickly, I have gone through my gallery and put through all my rare players who generally, more often than not, are in their national squads or their country's squad when their teams are announced. As you can see, there's only 4 players. The biggest cost is the keeper. Hence, I went out and bought Pavlenka a few months ago because I knew he was going to be the Czech #1. I bought Gruozo in, Kitchevili. I've been after this guy for a while. Bought him 9 days ago. Plays for a good team in Austria, Sturm Graz. And he also plays for Georgia, who got absolutely annihilated against Spain 7-1 the other night. But a shout out to him because he still managed to score 34 points in a 7-1 defeat. So I think that is very, very impressive. The other geezer, Prevlak, plays for Bosnia, who only struggled to beat Liechtenstein yesterday 2-1. He didn't come off the bench, unfortunately. However, because of the way the games have fallen, this guy has got 2 games within the same game week. They're away to Iceland. So hopefully he'll either start or come on and nick a goal or 2. I've got loads of limited players who I've got covered for international weeks. Obviously, you can see I haven't for the rare. So my intentions now is to beef out this squad. So when the international breaks come, I have got plenty of options to try and throw in a threshold team to win $50, because that's what I want to be competing for, as many game weeks as I possibly can. Because for me, in terms of ROI, it's still the best way to play the game. So in terms of beefing out the squad, all I have done since Thursday, since the qualifiers, the international qualifiers, both in America and in Europe have started, is gone through all the fixtures, all the starting 11, and I've identified players who I think could be potentially good threshold players or cap 220 players for my rare sides. And here are some of them. They are just on my favourite list. Not all of these will be applicable for internationals and clubs, because there's some of the players I'm looking at. However, there's a few on there. Like I said, I'm not trying to influence anyone. I'm just trying to give you an insight in how I'm thinking when international weeks are coming. How can I get a team out? Like I said, I want to be competing for $50 as many game weeks as I possibly can. That is my first priority when I play so rare. Anything else is an absolute bonus. And that's about it really, guys. Next time I do a video, hopefully I'll have a few more reinforcements in these utility players, so I know when the next international break happens in October and then the one in November, I will have options to get a decent threshold side out, which will give me an opportunity to win $50. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for watching. Please do your own research, and I'll see you soon.